Did y'all know that universities was getting rid of the diversity, equity, and inclusion program and people were pissed about it? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Starting with the University of Florida. People are pissed. Check it out.
University of Florida becoming the latest school to eliminate all diversity, equity, and inclusion program positions due to new state rules. ABC's Jay O'Brien joins us with the details on that. Good morning, Jay.
Janae, good morning. Florida now at the center of the latest firestorm over diversity policies in schools, this time at the state's flagship university. This morning, the fallout after the University of Florida eliminated all diversity, equity, and inclusion positions, getting rid of more than a dozen full-time jobs, including the campus's chief diversity officer, ending 15 administrative roles.
Can we get a round of applause for the University of Florida? These, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, are jobs where people don't do nothing to add value into the positions or the companies that they work for, including the University of Florida. 15 administrative roles. You know, I was wondering yesterday, because when they was talking about the aid for Eric Adams that basically got raided for being out here frauding and giving contracts and all of this other stuff, this pay-for-play that they got going on over there in New York, allegedly. And I was like, well, what position does she hold? And she was like, the chief communications officers for Chinese people or some crap like that. I said, what? What she do? What she do it for? For Asian, the Asian community advocate, chief financial $100,000 plus a year position on the taxpayer dime. More than a dozen full-time jobs for the diversity, equity, and inclusion positions that's continuing to raise up tuition prices has now been eliminated. Congratulations. Congratulations, University of Florida.
And canceling all DEI-focused contracts with vendors. The university, now led by former Republican Senator Ben Sasse, saying it's complying with new Florida education restrictions after the state legislature passed a law last year banning public funding of diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, programs. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis celebrating UF's move, posting, DEI is toxic and has no place in our public universities.
Facts.
Republican State Representative Bernie Jacques co-sponsored the legislation.
To make sure that we have education in our higher education system here in the state of Florida instead of indoctrination.
Critics, however, warning that eliminating all DEI policies and staff roles at a leading public university will have ripple effects nationwide.
Our young people, our students, our educational institutions are the ones who become the collateral damage of everything that we're seeing right now.
How, sir? I'm just curious, how? How is that true? Listen, if you good enough for the position, you shouldn't have to be advocated for based off of stuff that you can't control. It's as simple as that. The best person for the position should be the one to get the position. It should not be based off of... Listen, that's the thing that you then complained about of why you couldn't get the position in the first place back in the day. Now you want equal, and so, okay, then that means that you should be able to get the position based off of your merits. The best person for the job should be the one to get the job, not the one that's the blackest, not the one that ain't got no penis, not the one that's the tallest or the shortest or Hispanic or Asian or black or Asian. Listen, the best person for the job should be the one to get the job. You should, because that's basically reverse discrimination. If you eliminate somebody from being able to get the job based off of the fact that not that they wasn't too qualified or they was worthy of getting a job, but because they wasn't a woman or because they wasn't black or because they wasn't Asian, that's crazy to me. How can we justify this? How can we justify the right person for the position shouldn't get the position because they not black enough? That's reverse racism. That's reverse discrimination.
This is so far more than just politics. This is what's going to start happening all across this country.
How can you be certain that this doesn't inspire fear in academics and in a way make them fearful of teaching any kind of diversity?
Well, it doesn't do that, right? If there's a student-led group that wants to engage in diversity discussions or gender or what have you. If it's student-led, they can do that. What we don't want it to happen is we don't want it to be institutionally led and taxpayer-funded.
Now, 8 other states, in addition to Florida, have passed legislation aimed at dismantling DEI programs on college campuses, and at least a dozen states are now considering similar legislation. Gio?
And I think that that's smart.
Appears this debate is far from over. All right, Jay, thank you so much for that.
Let me go. I heard that Roland Martin on the same subject was advocating for support for Emmitt Smith and to stand with Emmitt Smith, who's a former Cowboy champion, Dallas Cowboys champion, to stand with Emmitt Smith in supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion. I haven't seen this, but I did see it pop up, and so I thought I'd kind of share it a little bit and see what the sentiment is with this.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith, the NFL's leading rusher for his career, dropped a bombshell blasting his alma mater for firing all of their DEI employees. Now, remember, the state of Florida banned DEI across all state institutions, and Emmitt Smith was not having any of it. He dropped this statement right here. Emmitt said, quote, come on, guys, thank you. I'm utterly disgusted by UF's decision and the precedent that it sets. Without the DEI department, the job falls to the office of the provost, who already has their hands full to raise money for the university and continue to advance the academic studies and athletic programs. We cannot continue to believe and trust that a team of leaders, all made up of the same background, will make the right decision when it comes to equality and diversity. History has already proven that is not the case. We need diverse thinking and backgrounds to enhance our university, and the DEI department is necessary to accomplish those goals.
They created a whole department based off of diversity, equity, and inclusion. What a fool. Hey, let me ask y'all a question, because we done been finessed like this a whole lot of times, y'all. Let me ask y'all a question. If a person was the leading rusher of all time for an NFL team, how does that then qualify them to be able to give you some insight and information on how it is that you're supposed to live your life, or how to run a university, or how to educate your students? Is it all based off of the fact it's a popularity contest, or you was a leading pass rusher? Or do we actually want to make some informed decisions on what's best for our children? Because I don't want my child going to an indoctrination camp.
And instead of showing courage and leadership, we continue to fail based on systemic issues. And with this decision, UF has conformed to the political pressures of today's time. To the many minority athletes at UF, please be aware and vocal about this decision by the university, who is now closing the doors on other minorities without any oversight. And to those who think it's not your problem and stay on the sidelines and say nothing, you are complicit in supporting systemic issues.
Well, okay, I'm not sitting on the sidelines. I'm being very vocal, and I'm saying that he's absolutely positively wrong. Absolutely, positively wrong. Look, Christ is a black man. What a heck of a name. So it says wrong. It's the old days. I think you meant to say it's not the old days. We are not living in the 1900s anymore. You're going to have to stand on your own 2 feet. Nobody cares about your diversity, equity, and inclusion program. You're going to have to stand on your own 2 feet, be a big boy or a big girl, and then get hired off of your own merits. No more leg ups. No more none of that. We are one big melting pot here in the United States of America. And even white people got to live van life right now. And I don't care what Emmitt Smith says or Roland Martin.
Now, a lot of people about there, obviously, especially your MAGA right-wing folks, have been critical of Emmitt Smith, but he's getting a lot of support, and he's right on the money. And the reason why this is important, folks, is because when you have athletes, former athletes, legends, icons dare to stand up and to challenge conventional thinking, then you're going to see, I believe, a fundamental difference. Now, some of y'all may disagree with me and say, well, I don't really know if that's the case. Do y'all remember when a brother out of Mississippi State dared to say, I'm not playing under that Confederate flag? And then what happened? They quickly moved. Remember this story right here? This brother, give me 1 second. Let me pull it up here, unlock it. There we go. All right. Remember this story right here? Mississippi State running back. I won't represent this state until flag is changed. And when Kylan Hill made that particular comment, he, of course, was one of the top rushers in the NFL, in college football. Folks, it did not take long for them to change the state flag. Literally, the white racists in Mississippi, Republicans, have been fighting for a long time to keep that Confederate emblem on that state flag. When that brother and other athletes started saying, we ain't having it, and when those white head coaches started telling those lawmakers, the black players not coming to our state, they immediately changed that flag. Y'all might remember University of Missouri, when they also announced they were going to boycott over issues. That led to top university officials resigning and massive changes at the university. This is what
I'm amazed that we still are trying to bully people to do what we want them to do. And we even trying to force people to lose their jobs because they don't agree with you. It's okay to not agree with somebody. It's okay to have a difference of opinion. It's even okay. Look, as much as I love and I support many conservatives, I don't think that all of them are good. But I also say that I think that you guys should do your own research, and I'm not mad at you if you decide that you wanted to vote completely differently than me and you wanted to support somebody from a party on the other side. I respect that. The only thing that I ask you to do is become an informed voter, and then you look at those issues, you look at the policies, you look at what it is that you're facing, especially on a local level, and you make a decision for what's in your best interest or your community's best interest. See, contrary to popular belief, a lot of conservative people stand behind the idea of a democracy. We stand behind the idea that you should be able to do what you want to do based off of the fact that we all free to think and say what we want to say when we want to say it. The only thing we ask you to do is become educated when you go and vote, because we don't want you to vote based off of being miseducated. I support people being able to sleep with who they want to sleep with. I just don't agree. The thing that I don't want you to do is censor me because I don't agree. And so if I don't want to be censored, what I also do is I say, I'm going to advocate for you not to be censored either, even if you disagree with me, because that's what freedom of speech really is. And it's the same thing when it comes to these diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. You should not be able to have a bigger voice than everybody else just because you're a woman, or just because you're black, or just because you don't like the way that things go there. It's silly, it's ignorant, it's dumb, it's racist, it's reverse racist, it's all of the things that's the worst for us.